Airstrikes against the heavy weapons held by forces loyal to President Laurent Gbagbo lit up the skies over Abidjan. The UN, together with France, engaged in some earnest bombardment. Their engagement after hundreds of civilian deaths, hugely controversial, but the UN say they're not taking sides.
We are completely impartial, militarily speaking. In addition to that, what we did was just implementation of our mandate to protect civilians.
But then that sounds like you've taken sides.
We have alerted them. They are also the ones who shot at our peacekeepers, which is a war crime in all international conventions.
The UN now says the last chapter of the war is being written. Tonight there's a ceasefire and reports that President Gbagbo is negotiating the terms of his departure from power. One of his ministers, speaking from Abidjan, where he says he fears for his own life, admitted anything could happen now.
Everything is possible. We've heard so many rumours from our enemies, from the UN. Our television channel has been attacked, so currently we can't broadcast, and so I can't confirm the possible departure of the president.
For the president's enemies, the rebels loyal to Alassane Ouattara, this is the last stage of a carefully planned takeover. Their final assault began 2 weeks ago as they fought their way south across the country. They began moving from their base in Bouaké on March the 21st. 800 people were killed when they arrived in the western city of Douekwe a week later. Quickly, the administrative capital Yamoussoukro and the main port San Pedro fell before they launched their offensive against the president's seat of power, Abidjan. Today, the city streets are largely empty, except for soldiers and their hardware. But Abidjan was once the Paris of Africa, with its five-star hotels, nightclubs and prosperous economy. It was a symbol of West Africa's most successful nation, genteel, even rich. The country remains one of the world's leading cocoa producers. But a much-awaited election last year, delayed several times, has not brought any return to stability. Instead, Laurent Gbagbo and his opponent Alassane Ouattara, together with their respective armies, have torn the country apart. The UN declared that the former IMF economist and Muslim leader Ouattara won the election outright, but the incumbent, Gbagbo, refused to step down. The Sorbonne-educated Catholic university professor who fought the election under the slogan, "We win or we win," has held his people captive to his own unflinching ambition. They've capitalised on existing divisions to maximise the sense of threat and spread insecurity. The south is comparatively rich, and in Gbagbo's terms, more truly Ivoirian, unlike the mainly Muslim north, where people from neighbouring countries migrated to participate in the Ivory Coast's good times. Fighting along ethnic and religious lines. It's reported Ouattara's rebels killed 200 people and put them into a mass grave in Douekwe. Other reports claim that Gbagbo's troops also committed atrocities. The region is worried, and with good cause. If the fighting becomes more widespread, tinged as it is with nationalist flavours, then nations like Burkina Faso might consider sending their own forces to protect their people. But tonight, what happens to President Laurent Gbagbo will decide what happens next to this divided nation. The people of Abidjan can only wait to discover whether the rebels with a history of violent reprisal will tomorrow become the guardians of their fate.
Kylie Morris reporting now.